been going to Singapore a lot in the last couple of years, and I was convinced that I would find a like-minded fella there somewhere. So kept on playing, and eventually one of the gigs we played, Jeremy, who went by another moniker back then, the Constant Idealist, came and he opened. So straight away it's like, oh, it's nice stuff. And actually I heard his stuff before the gig, and you don't get that style very often, right, when you're in KL. So I thought there was some kind of commonality that we had. So then he bought last copy of one of my EPs, which is a Tenets EP, and he loved that.
Well, that's how he was in a pigeonhole, this performance space that actually doesn't exist anymore. It was a space for like poetry and other art forms. So it just happened that they called me and told me, hey, you want to open for this guy Azmyl Yunor and the cigarettes. Initially it's supposed to be the whole band.
Yes, supposed to be the whole band.
But sekali the show in Johor got cancelled. So it didn't make economic sense to bring the whole band to Singapore.
True.
So it became just a Azmyl Yunor thing. So I was listening to his stuff and I was like, oh shit, this guy's cool, man. Then I went up to him, hey, can I buy your CD? So I bought all the CDs and the last copy of Tenet. So that's basically how we met in Singapore.
As they say the rest, history was made. Yeah.
Basically, I write songs about living in Singapore, or what we call the Little Red Dot, or that's what Indonesia called us back in the day. So all my songs are about living in Singapore and the various issues that we face there. Stuff like wages stagnating, cost of living going up. So I write songs about that, and I want to make people kind of like think about their lives and not be so apathetic towards politics and their life in general. The songs on the EP were actually, songs I wrote about life in Singapore. And then Azmyl, because Azmyl's got a lot of songs, so you kind of like chose songs that.
Yeah, that was fun because Jeremy came here, he had some material, so he recorded with Ronnie, co-producer and also who engineered it. And so after he did his 3 songs and he went back. I started reflecting, like open my old notebook and see stuff that I consciously tried to look for stuff that came from the same era as Tenets, which was 2000. The material came from about 2001, 2002. The EP was released 2005, but still I felt like the kind of themes or mood that Jeremy's songs had was mirrored the songs I had from back then. So then kind of volleyed it off lah. So one song didn't really work, I felt, in that context. So I just put that aside lah. Look at the menu, what song I still got left. I took it out. Then we ended up with these 3 songs that were kind of on the same page. And that was kind of spontaneous lah. It wasn't like we sat down like, okay, Jeremy, you come down to Malaysia, you do your 3 songs, and I'll look through my storeroom and look for some songs that would fit. So
it's an emotional thing. Like you listen to the song straight away, you maybe get an idea of what you want to do.
Yep.
And for me, because I just started writing songs maybe 2-3 years back, so I didn't have that much material. So I thought I want to do the 3 songs that represented Singapore or my sound. These were the 3 important songs that I wanted to put on the EP.
Well,
Azmyl came up with the name.
we were. I think we were kind of. We didn't really brainstorm, but we always felt as at least I thought that the title should have some reference to Malaysia and Singapore, not just something like something vague or moody. But I felt that if we had something to link that was tangible, that was real between that would say something about Malaysia and Singapore, that would fit nicely. So I mean, we WhatsApp each other like some titles, but then suddenly like one day I just thought about it. Hey, remember that island that was disputed? What's it called again? So I did some Google search and like, oh, Pedra Branca. That sounds cool. That's like a band name. So I just told Jeremy, like, hey, what do you think of the name? So, cool, alright. At least we could explain it a bit lah.
In that sense, it's isn't some run of the mill like Causeway Blues.
Yes.
Some other really cheesy name for the EP that's too literal as well. We wanted it to have something that a little bit political, but not until like like we are fighting over stuff kind of thing.
That element was very important. I felt. And it's a bit, there's some cheekiness in it, by having that name.
Yeah, that's right. Man. After I did the EP, I did a lot of reflecting and I started writing a lot more new songs. So the songs that I played during the launch in Singapore were a lot of new songs and about emotions from the past. So the Singapore shows were very emotional for me in that sense. But of course, like playing Penang and Ipoh, it was great lah. Because Penang had a very nice vibe. It was this place called the Canteen at China House. So we played there, great audience. People came up to us after the show, telling us that like your music, wanted to find out a bit more. A couple of random guys who work in Singapore come up to me, yeah, I'm going back to Singapore. Singapore sucks, man. And Ipoh is just a great venue as well, Kizanak, where the kids there are very passionate about music. They really support. After the show, they come and buy your cassette.
Bit shy, but but they came up.
Asked me for like first autograph ever. Like, wow, ask me for my autograph now. Like, what to do, man? Oh, shit, how am I gonna autograph this? Is Jeremy? Nah, autograph as hell low lah.
Nice.
Ipoh was good.
Yes. That was really fun. So the Singapore shows were great. I mean, it's got me thinking during the launch night. I was thinking like, wow. And a couple of years back, I came here, I didn't know anybody, and here we met Jeremy and met his set of friends from Diaries, which is a collective that organizes a lot of these acoustic shows. Just I think, wow, it's just like, wow. From that just instinct, like, go down there. And whereas here, I think Malaysia, the acoustic thing has been happening for a while. We had some superstars come out from the scene, and it's encouraging, but I suppose this particular stream of acoustic folk or folk blues isn't so popular here. Not yet. People, the appreciation is growing, and I think that's why when we went to Ipoh, the guys in Ipoh are more in tune with what goes on in the so-called indie rock movement from 90s onwards. So they're kind of more in tune with the lo-fi acoustic stuff, and I think that's where it resonated there. They reflected well. So KL, we'll see. I mean, tonight's a litmus test. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I guess in Singapore there are so many different sub-genres and niches in that sense. So like what Azmyl said, maybe this whole sounding a bit folksy and morose thing hasn't really caught up in Singapore yet. Because everybody is post-rock there. Everybody jang post-rock. No offense to the post-rock bands.
Oh wait, where do we dig them?
We're just slightly different from what maybe it's not fashionable. It's not a fashion thing. It's just the songs that I think the songs that we feel when you perform, right, you feel the least like a fraud. It's the songs. I write songs about Singapore. I sing about Singapore, and I sing it in this way,
True. And mind you, both of us, our background, we used to play in noisy bands. I still play in noisy bands, and a lot of our roots are either in punk rock or rock and roll. So, I guess that shapes the way you approach acoustic, whatever acoustic format it is. In a sense that rawness we feel is something closer to us than this really nice jazz chord, bossa nova smoothness, which thankfully my skill, I'm not so talented. I can't play that well. So this all I'm limited to. So, but I think Jeremy is a lot more technical. He's tough chords, man. But yeah,
just motor skills.
Motor skills.
Motor skills. Yeah, no, same lah. I came from like punk rock and like screamo, hardcore background when I was younger. Went through a long metal phase. But as you grow older, you got to write music that's more personal and more relevant to your own struggles. Punk rock, all this. And I went to high school. And I went to the prom, so I can't write songs about high school and prom.
That's true. Yeah. So that's I think that's why we have more empathy for. I think when you find out more about his background, he organizes stuff, and just went on his own. I think that's where we kind of share. Our journey is kind of common lah. There's certain commonalities that we share. I think that's quite important beyond just a music genre. You know, we're doing this on our own.